Hi guys, DJ here from Select Investments LLC. This video is a tutorial for the house flipping project estimate calculator. Please take note of the yellow cells. These are the only cells we need to change because everything else is calculated for us. As you can see, our calculator has a clean slate waiting for us to start fresh. Let's get to it. First, we will focus on the upper portion of the spreadsheet. These are the variables that change with every project and are very specific to a particular project. They are separated because the other variables don't change very often. They're the lower variables. They're mostly set and reviewed periodically. The first section is project address. Here you enter the physical address of the property to evaluate. There's also a space for the parcel ID. For this tutorial, we'll leave Example Street as the address. The next section is input variables. This is where you will spend most of your time. The first input is HOA monthly dues. This is the monthly homeowners association dues. Our example house has monthly HOA dues of $41. The next input is square footage. Our example house has 2,256 square feet. The next input is improvement cost per square foot. This is the construction or renovation or remodel budget amount for every square foot of the home. Our example house needs some work, so we have budgeted $30 per square foot. You can imagine placing $30 in every one of the 2,256 square feet. The total base cost for our construction is $67,680, and you see that number listed in the expenses column under improvement costs here. If you need help estimating an improvement cost per square foot, we have a product to help you. It's the construction budget estimation product, and it's in the project estimation product bundle. This explains our system for finding contractors and setting a construction budget. You will find the answers to the questions in that product, but right now we need to stay focused on the tutorial for this product. The next input is sell price. This is the resale price of the improved home. This is also commonly referred to as the after repair value, or ARV. Based on our market research, our example house should sell for $560,000. The next input is AROI percentage. This is the annual return on investment percentage that you require to work the project. This part can get a little confusing. First, for right now, let's assume a simplified project that will take exactly 1 year. Imagine the whole project needs $500,000 of investment. If you desire a 50% AROI, then the return on investment would be $250,000. 40% would be $200,000. 30% would be $150,000. In this tutorial, we want 30%. Let's return to this in just a few minutes. The next input is months on market. This is the average number of months that comparable homes are sitting on the market. This varies with market conditions and time of year. It's very important to understand here that this is the entire time from the end of construction all the way to the closing table. It doesn't matter when the end buyer puts the house under contract. We need them to buy the house at closing. Our example house should sell in 3 months. We will focus now on the left-hand column titled Expenses. This is where we spend money. We look first at improvement cost. We have already seen how the base improvement cost is calculated from the square footage and the improvement cost per square foot. The next input is early bonus. We have found it difficult to enforce a penalty for construction not finishing on time. But when we introduced a bonus for finishing on time, we saw results. The contractors bump other projects to finish ours first because of this pure profit incentive. We always offer at least 10% bonus to our contractors. Our example is 10%. The next input is sales tax. This is the sales tax due on the contractor's service, both materials and labor. Our example is 6.2%. If you don't have a team, then you should probably leave the next section all zeros. This is company overhead section, and you would have to read our business and operational plans to understand our team positions. Our teams have project managers. They earn 1.5% of the buying price at the purchase and another 1.5% of the selling price at the sale. They do pretty much everything that a real estate agent and contractor doesn't do. The next input is general overhead. This is an average monthly company expense for ink, paper, city licenses, parking, insurance, etc. Our example is $172 per month. Quiet costs are for buying, holding, and selling the project house. These are how the other professionals on the team make money. They are title agents, real estate agents, wholesalers, and inspectors. This includes pool and landscaping maintenance fees for the months between construction and sale that are not included by a homeowners association. Quiet costs also include utilities, mostly heating in the winter and air conditioning in the summer, homeowners association dues, and property taxes and insurance. We have found that numbers between 1.25% and 1.75% are right for closing costs to buy, utilities, insurance, taxes, etc., and closing costs to sell across 3 separate states. This depends on your area. Some areas have stamp and document taxes to convey property, while others don't. You should review a closing statement from your title company to estimate these amounts. For our example, we use 1.5% for each of these. The next input is buy commission delinquency. This is used when you need to pay a real estate agent more than the seller is offering. We also use this field to pay wholesalers. For a typical deal, this will be left at 0%. For our example, we will use 0%. The next inputs are buy office commission and sell office commission. These are the standard commissions paid to real estate brokerages in the area when you sell the property. For our example, we will use 3% for both of these. The next input is gross receipts tax. Some states require the seller to pay tax on the service provided by the real estate agents. This is a gross receipts tax on buy office commission and sell office commission. If you aren't sure, then check with your title company. For our example, we will use 0%. The next input is additional cost to sell. This amount is set aside to negotiate small repairs with the end buyer at selling. For our example, we'll use $2,000. We will focus now on the right-hand column titled Investment and Return. This is where we estimate the potential project. There is only one value to change here. The rest of the numbers are crunched by the calculator for us. Still, we'll walk through each one to make sure that everything is clear. The next input is improvement time. 10% is the right value for this field most of the time. This is a percentage because we estimate the length of construction based on the amount of work to be done. This comes directly from the improvement cost per square foot entered here. We chose a CSF of $30. 30 times 10% is 3 months. Our example is 10%. If you need more time due to extensive permitting with architects and engineers, or longer than average lead times for equipment or materials, then you adjust this number upward. At 15%, you would have 4.5 months to finish construction. At 20%, you would have 6 months. We have now budgeted 3 months for improvement time and 3 months on the market to market and sell the property. That makes our project time 6 months. This is the total time expected from closing table to closing table. It's important to understand how improvement cost per square foot, improvement time, months on market, and annual return on investment percentage are used to estimate project time, return on investment percentage, and return on investment. It may seem confusing at first, but there is a good reason to understand why we decide the annualized return on investment percentage, not the return on investment percentage. What if there are 4 available deals? Let's assume that each of these deals take the same amount of investment money. Imagine we can only afford to do one of these deals. Which deal is best? Well, given that information, we would pick the biggest return on investment percentage in order to make the most money. But what about time? If you invest $100 to gain $35, don't you need to know how long it takes? Good question. What if we know time? Now which deal is best? Well, we see 15 months and we see 3 months. That's a whole year of difference. Maybe we should sort by time. That way, we can make money faster. But 9% does seem pretty low. What if we combine the return on investment percentage and time together? This is what the annual return on investment percentage does. It allows us to compare apples to apples by changing every potential deal into an apple. With this new information, which apple would you bite into first? I would go with the 48 apple. It's interesting to note that the highest return on investment percentage and the shortest time deals came in last in our apples to apples comparison. I heard someone else explain this once another way. He talked about filling up an empty swimming pool with a garden hose. He said it would take 24 hours to fill the pool. In less than 24 hours, you will have less than a pool's worth of water. At 24 hours, you will have exactly a pool's worth of water. After 24 hours, you will have more than a full pool. That's pretty easy, right? Now think about our winning 48% hose. It would take 1 year with that hose to fill up our 48% return. But that deal is only 5 months long. So there will be less than 48% of return. Now look at the 28% hose. It could fill up a 28% return in a year. However, that deal is longer than a year. That's why the return is bigger than 28%. Hopefully, now you see that the annualized return on investment percentage is a measure of cash flow relative to our investment. In summary, the annual return on investment percentage combines the return on investment percentage and time to allow apples to apples comparisons. The annual return on investment percentage can be thought of as a return flow rate, where we want the biggest annualized return on investment percentage deals possible, and we need to keep the return flowing by connecting from one deal directly into the next smoothly. Now we can return to the annual return on investment percentage from earlier. We chose a 30% annual return on investment above. Our 6-month example project will take exactly 50% of a year. That is shown here as return on investment percentage of year. That means that the return on investment percentage is 15% for our example house because 30% times 50% is 15%. If we did this project twice in a row, then our money would be working hard for exactly 1 year, earning the desired 30% annual return on investment. The next section is investment. This is the investment amount required to work the entire project. We like to think of putting money on a big table. We need enough money to do everything in the deal. This includes buying, fixing, carrying, and maintaining. This transfers numbers from elsewhere in the spreadsheet to calculate the required investment. One important thing to mention is that you don't see the cost to sell in the investment total. That includes the quiet selling cost and the project manager final from company overhead costs. The reason is that those are not due until the end buyer brings the money to the closing table. As a result, we don't actually need to invest those amounts. In fact, they are actually paid directly from the value that we will create by flipping this house. The next section is return on investment. I'm pretty sure this is everybody's favorite section. I know that it's mine. It's important to remember that this is the return for the whole investment. If you have investors, then you will have to pay them from this amount. We have a product to help analyze investor loans. It's the House Flipping Loan Calculator, and it's also included in the Project Estimation product bundle. The product helps you scale up by using leverage to your advantage to increase your return percentage. The next section is maximum offer. This is the maximum price you can pay for the project house. You can always pay less. You cannot pay more. The graphs are a newer addition to the project estimate calculator. We really like them because they show the money breakdown visually. You can really get a good understanding of the project at a glance. The sell price breakdown shows the investment, return, and cost to sell. When you look at this, you should see two main pieces. The first is usually bigger, and it's the investment required for the deal. The second is everything else. That everything else represents the value that you create with that investment by flipping this house. The investment graph shows the investment in greater detail. It includes the buy price, cost to buy, and the improvement budget. When you look at this one, you know how much work is involved in the project. Is it mostly improvement work or a house in good condition? Play around with the numbers for a while and watch the graph change with you. Okay guys, that's it. Thanks for watching the tutorial for the House Flipping Project Estimate Calculator presented by me, DJ, from Select Investments LLC. Have a great day.